Welcome to the kickstart of Sambayanihan, or the partnership of the Nayong Pilipino Foundation in Philippine Parks and Biodiversity. I am Laya Boquiren, just one of the many contributors to the programs of Nayong Pilipino, inspired by its mission and vision. The new Nayong Pilipino is on a 9.5-hectare property at the new Seaside Drive and Jocno Boulevard in Entertainment City in Parañaque, minutes away from the Las Piñas Parañaque Critical Habitat and Ecotourism Area, La Papachea, or protected wetlands designed to be of international importance under the Ramsar Convention. It is currently a home for flora and fauna, with at least 460 tag trees and close to 200 birds observed only within 2 hours last September 2020. Over the years, the NPF property has grown into a lush forest with an ecosystem. It is also one of the last remaining grasslands in the reclaimed area of Parañaque. The current administration approved plans to build the park. However, plans were deterred by the COVID-19 pandemic, and a quarantine facility was built on the property as part of the government's isolation strategy. So it is in this sense that we are a healing forest situated in a busy metropolis, because we heal and green as one. Meanwhile, and to fulfill its mandate, the foundation will not be deterred in finalizing plans to start a creative hub that can provide opportunities for research-based creations, talent fostering, trainings, partnerships, and linkages, and the means to stimulate creativity, all surrounded by nature. So the Heritage Space program has a multimodal approach, both offline and online, as we continue to generate meaningful interactions and solidarities. So this is why today we are ecstatic to have Philippine Parks and Biodiversity. But before we proceed, let me introduce the Executive Director of the Nayong Pilipino Foundation, Attorney Lucille Malilong Esperto. EDK?
So today, we're super grateful to be with friends who believe that a clean and green planet is a human right. And we're happy to share our hopes and dreams and plans with Philippine Parks and Biodiversity, who support us in our vision for Nayong Pilipino to be a recognized hub for research, innovation, and training on cultural heritage through the creation of spaces and platforms for creativity, development, and recreation. Our mission is stated as celebrating cultural heritage, Filipino diversity, and creativity as a social and economic force for national development. When we talk about culture, we know that it's impossible for it to exist without nature. And we are lucky that we still have that 9.5-hectare property in the middle of Metro Manila, the very few places where we can enjoy an urban forest. And we are excited to develop that so that more of us can enjoy the solace, the bonding with nature, and the appreciation of birds, both those who come from the Philippines and the migrants. As Laya pointed out, we are in the flyway of a Ramsar site, which is internationally significant. And we look forward to welcoming you to our park very soon. So Philippine Parks and Biodiversity, we're grateful to have partners who want to help us succeed. And we're doing this so that we can build better cities, create spaces where children can play and imagine what is it like when we live in a place with so many trees. I've been to many places, and when I ask children what they hope for and dream of, and they show me their drawings, it's always about flowers and trees and butterflies. We want that space to be open soon. We want children and children at heart to enjoy that park soon. So join us as we make this dream come true. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, EDK. So everyone, let me share about our partnership journey with Philippine Parks since 2020 and how Project Sambayanihan was conceptualized. By the way, this was presented to the World Urban Parks Federation. So I'm happy to tell you that the whole world is watching Nayong Pilipino Foundation and the government. So Project Sambayanihan is actually a project for the creation of an urban forest in the NPF property in Parañaque and for the creation of green jobs. The goal is to transform the NPF property, currently a healing forest, as a platform for citizen-led biodiversity conservation complemented by transmedia stakeholder engagement. This will include design charrettes, on-site trail identification activities, creative partnerships, and constituency building. The set of efforts under Project Sambayanihan shall serve as a critical component in attaining our sustainable development goals on creating sustainable cities and communities. So, since 2020, we have been supported by Philippine Parks and Biodiversity, and together with civil society partners in biodiversity conservation, we have been having conversations, roundtable discussions, and even bird watching activities on site. So the second quarter, come tree planting season, we hope to plant trees in the periphery. And so we welcome the support from Philippine Parks. So I would like to introduce the Executive Director of Philippine Parks, Ms. Marinella Lumatan. Hi, Nella.
Hi, Laya, and thanks for the introduction. Again, really grateful for this Day of Solidarity. Actually, since last year pa naman, we've been in solidarity. I remember, share ko lang, the first times that EDK and our team and I would talk about this project. You know, it really started with a shared dream, like what Kay said. And that shared dream was to see the place be protected, to thrive, you know, to be not just have concrete developments, right, but one that really nurtures nature, and one that nurtures the well-being of people, and one that takes into account the whole ecosystem, right? People, wildlife, creativity, innovation, development. And so it was very refreshing to meet like-minded people like that, because you know, at this where we are right now, that's what's called for us as citizens of the Philippines, right? To care, to really have a deep respect for the land that we live in, for the land that we are stewards of, because we're just stewards of everything, right? And so that's what was really great about the Nayong Pilipino Foundation leadership and direction, which, you know, when Laya came on board already, was also embraced and trickled down to the board and to the membership. And I believe that through the year, we've really been able to educate people, you know, through our various educational activities. You know, we've been able to excite people together about transforming this space into a green space. And we saw that with the support that we got, with a lot of the engagement and the conversations that were held. And so I believe that we're at a very, very good starting point to really jump off and really continue our commitment towards this. So it's very exciting that Sambayanihan will push through. You know, as Laya has mentioned earlier, when we did bird watching in the area, we sighted various birds. When we invited the Wild Bird Club of the Philippines, there were over 20 species of birds. Recently, they said that there were insects that, I mean, of course, there are insects, right? But they documented several varieties of insects. And so that's really exciting, because we want this to really be a place for all types of life. So that's very exciting, right? And we look forward to all the synergies that we can create together. Not This is not for us. This is not for Nayon. This is for the people, right? It's our legacy for the Filipino, for our children. Wala akong child, pero for my future children, and you know, and the next generations to come. So really, really excited and thankful for this, and we give our commitment to bringing together stakeholders and general public to support the Nayong Pilipino Foundation in the clamor for green spaces. So we're looking forward to Sambayanihan.
Thank you for that inspiring message, Nella. And indeed, we are really excited about the multi-sectoral synergies that could happen this year, soon. I would like to introduce the project leader for Project Sambayanihan and the developments of the Urban Forest Park of the NPF property in Parañaque, landscape architect Hannah Cruz. Hello, Hannah.
So we will be talking about the approach, or the design approach, that we will be taking into we will be practicing for the design and development of the Nayong Pilipino urban forest. So like what Nella and Laya and Kay reiterated earlier is Sambayanihan is a citizen-led biodiversity effort. So that's why it is essential to take a step back with regards to the approach. As a designer, we have to take into account all the information that was discussed earlier, way before, and as well as not only the discussions by different experts, but as well as the current state of the area, which is the area used to be a mangrove. So it is honoring the history of the area. And it's as well as we're taking this opportunity, not only that we're in a quarantine situation or pandemic situation, but we're also want to rally or promote the restoration of the loss of biodiversity. So we need to take into action not only the situation that we're in, but we're also taking into account the future needs of the people. So with that, the design approach that we want to practice are not only the consideration of the historical value, but as well as the current situation that we're in a pandemic. But then again, we're also at the critical stage of loss of biodiversity. And with that, we want to merge everything and really get as much information as we can with different people, with different expertise, with different backgrounds. And with that, it's a participatory approach. We're engaging with essential stakeholders of not only the property owners, not only the government side. It's a, again, sectoral approach. So that's why we're treating it as a healing site for both sides, for nature and for the people. It's really for everyone. And with that, we just want to really implement a development that is not only experiential, reflective, and it's also restorative and progressive. One that's taken into account all the phases and all the steps that we have right now. So that's my side to it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that insight, Hannah, for enlightening us about what this is from a design and biodiversity conservation perspective. It's really interesting to have a team of landscape architects, engineers, horticulturists, environment planners, all working together and also collaborating with other sectors, taking into consideration not just, of course, landscape architecture, as we know, is beyond aesthetics. We have already established that, but it's interesting to see this proof of concept, how design in biodiversity conservation and multi-sectoral partnerships and stakeholder engagements can all be integrated in one project called Sambayanihan. So before we have a photo opportunity, I would just like to express my thanks to Philippine Parks and Biodiversity, and of course to EDK and Hannah. And so to Philippine Parks and Biodiversity, civil society partners, Philippine government agencies, World Urban Parks Federation, and the world, happy Earth Day to all of you. With that, we conclude this event for Earth Day that also coincides with this special expression and affirmation of solidarity between Philippine Parks and Biodiversity and the Nayong Pilipino Foundation. All right. Thank you, everyone.